3 years after winning the Newbery Medal for A Wrinkle in Time, Madeleine L'Engle volunteered to serve as cathedral librarian here at St. John the Divine. The job she thus took on was an ill-defined, more or less full-time position that had nothing much to do with the Dewey Decimal System. For the next 30-plus years, for as long as she had a steady connection to New York City, L'Engle, when she was not out of town, would arrive at the cathedral each weekday morning by 10, greet school groups or other visitors, respond to her sackloads of fan mail, pause for lunch, and then, if no one else happened by to talk with her, she would write all afternoon. People who needed to use the library, her editor, Sandra Jordan, recalled for me, would wander in, as would people for whom Madeleine served as a spiritual advisor. She had a great many of those relationships, including with a number of people whose lives had been hard or complicated, or who had suffered great losses. She felt a responsibility to people in need, Jordan said, as well as a responsibility to people who responded to her writings from some deep place in their lives. The arrangement suited her, in part because it provided L'Engle with a room of her own that was not far from her always bustling West End Avenue apartment. It also worked well because the office next to hers belonged to her spiritual advisor and good friend, Canon Edward Nason West. Canon West was a deeply thoughtful and wildly theatrical man who, some said, had been at the cathedral since the time of the Anglican Reformation. He had a long, impressive beard, dressed in Rasputin-like cassocks and capes, and shared L'Engle's flair for the grand gesture. Like her, he was a spiritual quester, and deep down, he too was a church of one. He filled his apartment with Russian Orthodox icons. She kept a small Buddha on her desk as a reminder that denominations mattered less than deeds. L'Engle published more than 40 books during her time as cathedral librarian, and Canon West was among the few people she trusted to read them as work in progress. For years, they collaborated in the teaching of an informal class, a kind of public conversation during Lent. The canon's assistant, Don Lundquist, recalled the scene. One night, Canon West began by saying, "Okay, Madel," he never called her Madeleine. "Tonight we're going to talk about Saints Damien and Cosmas," to which she replied, "Oh, Edward, where did you ever get that idea?" "Well, just tell me what you know about them," he said, and off they'd go for the next 45 minutes. She took her revenge